but you realize when you don't have them anymore how like important and how like happy they make you feel.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. We'll do our absolute best to try to make sure that we get life back to as close to normal as possible for Christmas, but that is going to depend, I'm afraid, on our success. From Thursday until the start of December, you must stay at home. You may only leave home for specific reasons. These areas will enter a new Tier 4, which will be broadly equivalent to the national restrictions which were in place in England in November. In England, that means the government is once again instructing you to stay at home.
Well, I wouldn't say I have struggled with my mental health because I guess everyone feels more lonely during this quarantine, like lockdown situation. So I think that's more or less like a common thing that happens to everyone. And I guess I'm just one of them who feels more lonely during lockdown.
I think during first lockdown, at the beginning, it was fine because we had exams in May, I think. So for like the majority of the first bit of that first lockdown, like I just had like a really good work routine, and I was just working, and like there was, you know, I had like a purpose, I guess. And then exams were over, and in summer term maths first years, like we do an individual project, but it's quite open-ended. Like you can do what you want, like you can like choose to spend as much or as little time on it as you want. And I think I found that period quite difficult because of the lack of structure, and also like the pressure to like keep in contact with friends. And then like, you know, like some people were working all the time and some people were like not doing anything at all, and it was just I think that was quite difficult. And I think I've also found that this term as well. I think the lack of structure.
When we went to full lockdown during March, yeah, it was. I struggled a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, because those times where we were living under very uncertain times, and we didn't know how this virus is going to act, or you know how long we're going to be under lockdown, and you know it was kind of like a lot of my freedom got taken away. Because of the lockdown and because of the virus, of course. But yeah, I mean, it was initially a struggle at the beginning, but I think I figured out how to adjust and how to adapt.
Going to be brave and more open this year. So basically, I have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, which has made this whole thing quite up and down, because one of the things is that you have the inability to control your emotions, quite like they fluctuate a lot. So it being stuck in a house sometimes, like the smallest things. I remember one day, like we got our council tax letter and we hadn't filled it out, and I was freaking out. I was having a meltdown. And I remember that was the day like I started all these new tablets, like they put me on, because I couldn't cope. And being in a house, like I didn't feel like I could go out. I couldn't go home. I couldn't do anything. It was just like, I'm going to sit in my room and like do nothing. And then like the next day it would be fine. So having to cope with that in lockdown has been terrible.
This COVID thing has like changed a lot of things actually. So I'm basically my studies is sponsored by the Commonwealth Commission. So actually there's a lot of trauma I have gone through for this particular thing. So what happened, I got my offer letter, the formal official offer letter in the September. Then the CSE has deferred my scholarship, that due to some delays due to COVID things, we are not able to give you scholarship this year. Then, you know, I like tweeted Facebook page, and then I write 10 mails every day to my Indian government and then to the CSE. And then later, after 1 month of like regular mails, they replied me back that, okay, fine, we will consider your scholarship, and then fine, we'll give you.
I think just like not being able to have as many new experiences has not been helpful. I think I usually struggle with like the sort of the monotony of some things, and I don't think it's helped being locked in with the same people for a few months. And I think I did have some issues back sort of this spring with some department projects that were all online, and it was a lot harder to, I feel, interact socially properly with the other members of my group, and that really took a strain on my mental health. So that wasn't fun.
Also, I had a surgery when I first came for endometriosis, so obviously I struggle with that, and that makes me feel crap as well. I also had, like, Christine came early so she could look after me, which is really nice, but that also made me feel like horrible and sad, and like I couldn't do anything and I couldn't enjoy being in this new house.
Right now, it's the sheer workload and the fact, it's the sheer workload and the intersection of that with lockdown, I'd say. There's a lot of work. I'm a fourth year, final year aero student, which is great. There's a lot of pressure on from job hunting. If people are doing job hunting or master's, PhD applications, that's stressful. Trying to balance that with courseworks and a master's thesis is really tricky, especially when your support network of friends aren't there in person and you don't have any gauging posts. Usually you're able to say, well, X person's doing this, John's doing that, Marie's doing that, or whoever, arbitrary names. I don't want to name names, I could, but it would be too amusing.
It's really hard for me to structure my day, and I often find myself like wandering around, just wondering what to do. And even when I was self-isolating, like Christine and Grace will know, I would literally go and bug them because I was bored. Whereas like normal people would probably have found something to do.
In terms of mental health and well-being, especially the student union, they're doing a fantastic job, and they're in contact with a lot of students. The department and the university are also trying their best. But one comment I would probably add is with regards to extensions. I know this is still being considered, and I'm not trying to, because things are still going on, and they may reach a conclusion maybe 2 weeks from now on. But I just want them to grant us more extensions, because it's not just about the time we lose; it's about the momentum we lose inside the lab. Yeah.
Also, when my scholarship was deferred, I asked the college to request to defer my course to the next year. They said they will do. Then it's like 30th of September. Then when I got the mail from the CSE, Commonwealth Commission, that they are accepting my request and they are processing the scholarship thing. Then I again mailed the chemistry department of Imperial. They said that please hold on, don't defer. Hold on for a few 1 or 2 weeks. They're like, okay, no problem. Just relax and hold on to the scholarship thing. We are here for you for everything. Like, they are the Santa Claus for me, to be very honest.
Imperial's mental health service have actually been fantastic. I've heard a lot of bad things about them, and I'll say that openly. Like, a lot of people do say really horrible things about them, but they were brilliant. They encouraged me to set regular kind of sleep schedules and things, which I did. I've got like a support worker who I see like every week, every other week, who was fantastic. And it's kind of hard because the specific therapies that you have for this, the waiting lists have like tripled, because obviously everyone's suffering more. So the wait list, I think one about like 4 months ago, it was like a year maybe, and now I think I've only got like, I don't know, it was around that, so I've probably still got like another 8 months, so maybe in third year.
The list of how good everyone's been, the department's been excellent, faculty's been really good, especially the faculty senior tutor, Lorraine Craig. She's checked in with people as much as anyone could imagine from a staff member. In terms of how good the university's been, they've been all right, but Imperial always maintains a corporate face, which is tricky. In terms of how the union been, I probably shouldn't make any comment, but I'm severely disappointed. The total lack of a student representative stance in terms of increased international fees in the year of remote working is shocking. And for a Yeah, I would have expected far better from a lot of the SABs. I understand it's difficult times as well. The cutting of clubs and societies budget to 25% of what it was is ridiculous. The leaving of the only union staff member who's still been there since I joined, Christy Thacker, is worrying as an organisation. The leaving of Jill Finney, who's the union's chair of the Board of Trustees, is worrying. Jill was exceptionally good. The loss of revenue at the bars will not help their long-term student support plans. In terms of student support in general, it's absent. Yeah, the SU is in dire straits in terms of their lack of support for students, and especially international students. As a home student, I feel shafted, but I don't feel anywhere near as shafted as someone who's paying 31k now per year for essentially a Zoom plus kind of lecture system.
It's quite very expensive because in Indian currency it's very huge. I won't be able to pay the tuition fee because it's very huge, because the fees for the UK citizens and the UK students and for the overseas is quite very different. It's double or triple times. So I won't be able to manage. I have to drop the course for the next year maybe.
Also, in terms of being in a house, I think that's a lot better for mental health, because obviously a lot of Imperial is international, and I just can't even imagine like being alone or being stuck somewhere where I can't get to my family or my friends.
It's been a weekly rotation of breakdowns with who's going to break down this week and who's going to try and comfort who over what's been going on in general. It's a very weird time, but then you have to remember it is a very weird time anyway, not just from a degree point of view. There's a lot of personal pressure, but we get each other's backs. We do shared meals and stuff whenever we can, whenever we're all in. So how has it affected us? Well, as much as being cooped up with the same people for months would anyway, albeit I think we've all been fairly forgiving, which is quite nice. At least I haven't heard any direct bitching about me, but then again, if it was behind my back, that's fair enough. You kind of need to do what you do anyway.
Yeah, we went through,
Puzzles.
there was a 2-week period where we like literally all we did was puzzles. Emma went home and brought all of her home puzzles back, and we finished all of them within like a week. And Grace has just got a ton for Christmas, so you'll be bringing them back for next term's enjoyment.
That's genuinely been our main outlet, I think. Like we've done some like house food event, like cheese nights and stuff, but puzzles is the main outlet of stress.
I think just trying to keep on going out, getting some exercise, doing a bit of photography. That's been really helpful. Yeah, and just trying to be positive about the whole situation.
I think actually overall, if I have to weigh it up, lockdown has actually really improved my mental health, because I have my own space in the house. I have people around me who I like. My boyfriend is 20 minutes away. I can work as much as I want. I can go to bed when I want, really. Like I can cook what I want. People make me nice food. Christine's a good baker, which is nice. It's given me a lot more freedom and like time for introspection, if that makes sense, which has made me feel a lot better.
Be patient, be happy, be close to the people you love, because in the starting, in the March, April this year, I was not like very worried about COVID. I was like, everything is happening smooth, there's no problem. But when you get something and then which is not in your hands, you just taken it back. The COVID is a thing which is like pulling it backward things. So that's it. Yeah, like be positive, be happy, and yeah, close to family. Yeah, that's it.
I think it's taught me also to be grateful for like the little things, because when I can go on a walk or see my friends, I get so excited, and before I would kind of take it for granted.